What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Stocks by the Numbers, and today I wanted to do a quick update on this company that did very, very well for us back in the day. Well, several months ago, not really back in the day, but name of the company we're looking at is SoundHound AI, ticker symbol SOUN, listed here on the NASDAQ. Now, back here was where we initially started looking at the stock and making the video. Stock was like 180, 190. We started to rise into the twos, saw immediate profits. Then we had the bull flag setting up. We called out the pop. And obviously it broke above this resistance line here and continued up to this top trend line north of $5. So, if you got in at 2, obviously it hit a high of 5. Hypothetically, if you were able to get in initially when we made the video and, of course, happened to catch the high at the top trend line, well, you just made yourself 150%. So now, more importantly, if you did happen to take the money and run at the high 4s, the low 5s, or potentially just did not sell because you wanted more, well, this is why I made the video today. So SoundHound, $3.36, down about a quarter, about 6 2/3%. And as we can see here, the company has bounced and pulled back right to this bottom trend line of basically, it's technically a wedge because these points aren't exact. They're not exactly the same. However, in my opinion, I have a feeling that because it's in the AI sector and that's where the craze is, I have a feeling that this may be viewed more as a ascending triangle, which would obviously be a bullish indicator, which would mean when we hit the apex, we have the potential to break up higher to this fib 592 and potentially go even higher. Now, I know we do look at the numbers, and you can see here that the company like 6 million, 8 million, the 11 million, right? So technically, the numbers don't add up in this situation. We have a market cap of now 730 million, and as we switch back here, you can see, the company brought in about 30 million in revenue. However, again, when it comes to situations like this, these small cap tech stocks with these kids, giving them all the attention and all the trades, these are the type of stocks that we have to follow and we have to ride the wave with, even though the numbers in and of themselves may not be lining up exactly how we like it. But as you can see here, we bounced off this bottom trend line, and that was actually the moving average as well. We'll switch over to stock charts in a minute, but in my opinion, we were going to bounce off of this bottom trend line as we did here. We pull up a one-day chart, and as you can see now, we're slightly below, looking at it on the 1 minute, we're slightly below this trend line. However, again, the 50-day moving average was 332, and that is exactly where we went. So what you're looking for is you're looking for a close back above this bottom trend line to indicate that it would then bounce and potentially go, again, even if it goes mid-range here, you're looking at 4.5. It's about 30% move from where we are currently. So if you're able to get in, might not be the worst idea. I know a lot of people wish they did get in back in the 2s and the low 3s. Then it ran to 5. And now, again, you have the ability to position yourself down here in the low 3s. So we're going to see how that closes today, but I wanted to make a quick video because I know a lot of people are watching it or trying to get involved or had success in it and are waiting for another entry. So right here at about 330, not the worst case scenario. Of course, again, looking at the numbers, I mean, they could definitely drop it down and bring it down to this next trend line of about 2.5 here before they bring it back up into this range. But in my opinion, it looks pretty stable. We had multiple bounces off of this bottom trend line here that we're looking at. So, again, we have to see where it closes. But in my opinion, overall, I think it looks pretty good. And if we switch over here to stock charts, you can see, again, the 50-day moving average is 332. And the low of the day so far has been 332. So they brought it down to that 50-day, they bounced it up, and now it's basically back at that bottom trend line. So if markets do continue to recover, again, this company is listed on the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ was slowly climbing. So if it continues to climb up, it will give some support to SOUN and try to slowly climb it back up and potentially close it back above that trend line, basically confirming the trade/investment that we're talking about here. But again, overall, if you do have consistent liquidity coming in and you wanted to take a position in something like SoundHound, and let's just say here 330, 335, 336, if it potentially does break down and pull back to like a 2.5 level here and retest another trend line or retest this moving average, again, if you do have liquidity coming in, you really shouldn't be stressed or upset about the situation. yes, you may have gotten in early, but like we always say, I may be early, but I'm still going to be right, you know. So again, we all know about dollar cost averaging. So if you buy some shares here at 335, you turn around in 2 weeks, the stock's at 265. Obviously, if you liked it up in the threes, you're going to love it down at 265. So if you do have the liquidity, you should add to the position and lower your cost basis. But again, that's really only if the stock breaks this trend line, which again looks pretty steady, looks pretty stable. The RSI has been slipping since these highs here back at the end of June. So for the last couple of weeks, we've kind of been selling off again, back down, retesting those trend lines in that moving average. So the RSI is still sitting here at 45. Of course, it could go lower, but in my opinion, that bounce off of that moving average really was key. We switch over here to the weekly, and we can see the RSI has dipped below random ad. The RSI has dipped below 53 after almost touching 70, but of course it did break out above these top Bollinger Bands, so a pullback and a little bit of a sell-off, some profit taking is expected. The MACD kind of looks like it flattened out here along with the sell-off. However, still basically overall in an uptrend here on the weekly. The company has basically been on fire since the ball dropped and has been rocking and rolling for us. So if you happen to get involved in SoundHound, congratulations. Obviously here on this run I'm talking about. But again, if you happen to position yourself up in the fours or whatever, and then it topped out and it pulled back, remember, again, stay confident, stay positive. Remember why we took the trade, right? We're investment, really. But, you know, you have to remain stoic. I keep saying this. You have to remain. You cannot have emotion tied into this. And if you are that emotionally tied to the liquidity you have in your account, then you should definitely look for something safer and more stable. Because no matter how we want to look at it, yes, I understand tech company, AI stock, it's on the NASDAQ, it's cheap. I understand you all want it. But again, as we said, we looked at the numbers. This thing could easily drop about 30% from where it is right now. So if you can't handle that sort of volatility and that sort of risk, then this is not the symbol that you should be looking at. If you're looking for more stable investments that if they go down really won't hurt you that much, then now you're talking about your large cap, your blue chip stocks, which of course is why people buy those large cap blue chip mutual funds or hold these big blue chip stocks in retirement accounts for the long term. But SoundHound, again, a little bit of a risky play, but we did like it overall, and in my opinion, I do still like it. Again, we are right here at this trend line, and coming above and closing above that trend line is going to be key. So just making a quick video here. I know it's midday. It's only about 12:30 right now, so you still have about 3.5 hours before the close here. So more than enough time for you to watch this video, keep an eye on SoundHound, and check in on it. 345, 350, 355, even if you have to go right down to the wire to make sure that we make the right call here, whether to buy or whether to sell at this trend line break or bounce here going into the close. But that's pretty much it. This was just something, again, that I know it's one of the cheaper stocks that we called out that did very, very well for us. So I know everyone's just looking for another entry to try to ride a wave back up. And we may potentially have our entry here. I did mention it in the Discord. There are some technicals, again, that we have to keep an eye on. But overall, we've seen worse companies than SoundHound with worse stories. So, in my opinion, we could do worse than SOUN, right? But overall, I'm just going to leave it there. So once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, drop it down in the comments section. I'm usually very quick to reply. Like the video, thumbs up, algorithm, share the video, helps me get more eyes on the channel. Subscribe to the channel. That is our handshake agreement. I will continue to post YouTube videos. You can come in the Discord. You can ask me questions about your portfolio. If I like a position, if I don't, if I have any short-term call-outs, if I have any long-term call-outs, fine, no problem. If I have the time, and if I'm level-headed, if I'm not stressed that day, then that is obviously the best time to do analysis. However, again, I will do all of that for you. All I ask, handshake agreement. If you're watching the content and you're taking advantage of some of these investments and trades, and chances are you're probably up more than you're down. So do me a favor. Make sure you push the subscribe button. That is our handshake agreement. That is how you help me help you. But moving forward, like I always say, I understand that markets are rocky and they're volatile and they're very uncertain. So I want to wish everyone success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to catch you guys in the next video.